Now for our final session of the weekend, and we are thrilled to introduce Taylor Danielson, who will be joining us virtually from Technology for Living. Taylor started working with Technology for Living in 2020 as a technician helping members with their technology. Through his interactions with the membership, he had the opportunity to hear their stories, learn more from their experience, and discover his own passion for helping the community. He continues to show members how to take control using smart technology and will share the knowledge, resources, and equipment needed to continue living successfully in the community. I happened to see Taylor present this at an MDC event 6 or 8 months ago, and I was so blown away. And I think the people online kept him for about 2 hours after his presentation, asking him questions about this. It was so fascinating. Anyway, Taylor, I'll be quiet and turn it over to you. And thank you for doing this.
Thank you very much for having me. All right, I'm going to share my screen. Can I confirm that we see that?
Yes, we do.
Awesome.
And we see and hear you.
Okay. So hi, everyone. And again, thank you very much for having me here. I'm here to talk to you today about smart home technologies and how they can enable you to be more independent within your home. My name is Taylor Danielson, and I'm the community coordinator for Technology for Living, a BC-based nonprofit, which provides many of the technologies we're going to be talking about today. I'm also the assistive user experience consultant for Kenobo Robotics, which offers many very cutting-edge assistive technologies. I'm joining you from the West Coast, just outside of Vancouver, BC. So I'm a couple hours behind you, but very happy to be here regardless. So what is smart home technologies? Smart home technologies are gadgets, devices, and home appliances which have internet connectivity built into them. This can be as simple as a light bulb which turns on and off to a complex network of several or even dozens of devices which work in harmony. Imagine you've been out for a long day and you are returning home. Your phone uses its GPS system to alert your smart home that you're arriving home. The porch lights turn on, the temperature control system adjusts to your preferred temperature, the front door unlocks, the lights inside your home turn on when the front door opens, maybe an electric kettle starts to boil, your sound system turns on and begins playing your favorite radio station or podcast. All of this and so much more is possible with smart home technology, entirely customized to your routines and preferences. The beauty of smart home technology is that it completely bypasses physical buttons, switches, keys, and fobs. Much of the quote-unquote magic of the smart home technology can happen automatically or at your command through a variety of different control methods. There are several different ways for you to control your smart home. The most common in my experience and also my preference is using your voice. Pictured here are 3 of the most popular voice assistants. I'm not going to say their names because I imagine there are a couple of them listening. There are many in my home right now, and I don't want to activate them. But these devices are called smart speakers, and they respond to verbal commands and questions, which allow you to control your smart home using your voice. You can ask them to turn on the lights, tell you if the front door is locked, adjust the thermostat. There are countless things you can do with a voice assistant, all without raising a finger. Using your eyesight is also a great way to interact with your smart home if that is your preferred control method. Imagine the reaction of someone born 100 years ago today if you told them that you could turn on a light bulb using your eyes. Truly incredible. Another popular method of control is using your phone, tablet, or even a smartwatch. This can be incredibly convenient, and I know this is also probably my backup system that I also use quite often because my phone is always with me and it's already set up in a way which makes it accessible to me. These control systems are not mutually exclusive. As I just said, I use my phone and voice control, my voice assistants all the time. They work together, and I think they work better when you're using both. So let's get right into the fun stuff, the devices themselves. We're going to cover the basic devices which are going to create the largest impact on a person's independence with the least amount of money spent. There are thousands of devices out there on the market right now, but we're just going to start simple. You could start, with $10, $20 and get a very basic system up and running using your phone and maybe a couple of smart light bulbs, or you could spend hundreds or thousands. It's really up to you and how far you want to go with this. First and foremost are lights and motion sensors. I have dozens of smart lights throughout my home and a motion sensor in every single room. The value of a smart light bulb cannot be overstated. They can be purchased for as little as $10 each, or even less if you can score a multi-pack on a sale. For that price, you take control of a fundamental aspect of your home. No more trying to reach a physical light switch, bumping into things in the dark, or having to ask for help. The smart home starts to become even more helpful when you add in motion sensors. Imagine entering a room and you literally need to do nothing at all and the lights will turn on. This is why I have a motion sensor in every single room in my house. As I move from room to room throughout the day, I don't need to worry about using my voice assistant or my phone to turn the lights on. They just turn on and off as I enter and leave the rooms. The goal of the smart home is to have it all work without you needing to do anything. This is what makes the smart home truly smart, when it's doing all of the work for you in the background and you are free to just live your life. Smart plugs are an extremely versatile device. You can plug anything into them that has simple on-off functionality. A great example I see all the time is a simple fan plugged into the smart plug. This is really great in the summertime. I don't know about the rest of you here at this conference today, but I have a horribly difficult time regulating my temperature. I'm hot, cold all the time. I have a heater here in my office that I've turned on and off several times today already. So these smart plugs, can really help you with regulating your temperature, but they can also do so much more. Basically, any device which can be turned on or off or with a smart plug. I use them with lamps, fans, a white noise machine in my room that I turn on at night. I have a artificial grow light, which helps keep my plants healthy in the winter. I know people use them with radios. You're really only limited by your creativity and finding, the devices that you need to work in your life. Controlling window coverings is another essential feature of your smart home. Being able to control the natural light in your space is a very human desire. I moved into this new home around a year ago, and the very first thing I automated was my windows. Whether you want to soak up the sun in your living room or be shrouded in darkness in your bedroom so you can sleep in a little bit longer, you should absolutely have that freedom. Its choice, its independence, its quality of life. There are many different options out there on the market right now, and unfortunately, I can't just say, get this one, because everybody's windows are going to be different. But pictured here are 3 different devices which work with a variety of different window coverings. The one on the right is actually moving some curtains at my front door, which is incredibly convenient. But all the window coverings in my space are automated in one way or another, and I find it incredibly helpful, and just it makes the space nicer to live and exist in. Controlling access to your home is vital for independence and safety. 2 devices which facilitate this extremely well are the smart lock and the smart doorbell. These devices are separate entities, but as with most things in the smart home, they work extremely well when working together. The smart lock allows you to use your preferred control method to unlock and lock your doors. And as I hope we all know, you shouldn't unlock your doors for anyone unless you know who's on the other side. This is where the smart doorbell comes in. Smart doorbells often have cameras into them, which can be viewed on smart devices like your phone or computer. Many smart doorbells also have a speaker and microphone system built into them, so you can communicate with the person at the other side of the door without actually opening it. I love to do this when I get packages during the day. I can just talk through the smart speaker and say, yes, I'm home, please just leave it there, and that works extremely well. Managing your temperature is not only important for your personal comfort, but as we seem to be experiencing different temperature extremes in the summers and winters, it can also be a matter of safety in some circumstances. Earlier, I mentioned using smart plugs to control your temperature, but on top of that, there's also the option of using smart thermostats. These replace the existing thermostat control panels for your system. And there are options for all of the most popular systems we have here in Canada, like baseboard heaters, forced air, and in-floor heating. Using your preferred control method, you can adjust the thermostat to a specific temperature. If you're too cold, turn the temperature up. Too hot, get the air conditioner going. Managing your entertainment center is also possible thanks to smart home technologies. There are a lot of different media players out there on the market right now, which have a variety of different control methods available. Some of them will work with apps on your smartphone. Some have remotes if that works for you. But my personal favorite is the Amazon Fire TV Cube, pictured here on the right side. It's the one that looks like a cube, funnily enough. The Fire TV Cube has a built-in voice assistant, which you can use to start playback of specific media on your favorite services like Netflix, Disney+, HBO Max. But what makes the Fire TV Cube unique among media players is that you can navigate the interface using your voice. So you can use it to do things like browse the Netflix catalog, which is kind of an essential pastime of modern life, just endlessly scrolling through Netflix trying to find something to watch. And the Fire TV Cube makes that possible regardless of your ability, as long as you can use your voice. So you can say commands like scroll down, go left, open Netflix, or select that, go back. It's a feature that I'd love to see on all of these streaming devices like the Apple TV, the Google Chromecast. But for now, the Fire TV Cube is the only one that has that, and I find it really helpful to be able to just navigate through this entire system just using my voice. So I don't need to have my remote or my phone or any other devices. All I need is my voice, and it just works. It's a great device, which I would highly recommend. The last device I want to tell you about is also one of my favorites, simply because of their versatility, and maybe I'm a geek, but I also think they're quite cute. The Fingerbot and SwitchBots are tiny little robots which can push buttons or flip switches. You can stick them just about anywhere you need a little robotic assistance. Light switches are probably the most common place you're going to put them, but that's really on the beginning. You can put them on coffee machines, computers, printers, anywhere that there is a button or a switch which needs activating. Here are some examples of how I use the SwitchBots in my home. The top picture is just on my computer that's sitting right next to me right now. And what it does is I simply say the command to my voice assistant, turn on computer. And as you can see there in this animation, it's going to press the power button on my computer. So I can use this to independently turn my computer off and on. This little robot just does the pressing for me. Of course, I could also use my phone to do the same thing. But again, my preference is the voice. I also use a series of SwitchBots on my air mattress. So this is an air mattress which will adjust in firmness to help me get a more comfortable night's sleep. And the control panel you see pictured here in the bottom image is at the foot of the bed, which is completely inaccessible to me when I need it the most. I think I neglected to mention I'm also in a wheelchair. I should have mentioned that at the very start, but I have spinal muscular atrophy. So that I hope that paints a better picture here. I use all of these devices, and I find them extremely useful to help me be more independent. So getting back to this control panel for my air mattress, it's at the foot of my bed, and I can't independently get out of my bed. And I'm not, especially not to just adjust the firmness in the middle of the night. But using these SwitchBots, I can press these buttons with the SwitchBots assistant using my voice. Pictured here, there's actually only 3, but I've since added 3 more to get more control out of this. So I have 6 of these at the foot of my bed now, which is a bit excessive, but it does get the job done. It allows me to adjust my comfort throughout the night to be more comfortable and get just a better night's sleep. And again, this was all done using my voice. So I just shout out in the middle of the night, and it works. So there are a lot of places that you can get the smart home technology that I've talked about today. I'm so happy to see that smart home technology is becoming very mainstream, which makes it very accessible. The first place that you should go if you are in the province of British Columbia is Technology for Living. Technology for Living is a nonprofit society which exists to help British Columbians with physical disabilities to achieve independence by using technology. We have 3 programs: the Provincial Respiratory Outreach Program, Technology for Independent Living, and the PEER program. The Provincial Respiratory Outreach Program, or PROP, P-R-O-P, has supports for those that require ventilatory assistance to move into and continue living independently in their community. A team of respiratory therapists provides equipment, supplies, education, and ongoing support, both remotely and in the home, no matter where you are in British Columbia. An in-house team of biomedical engineering technologists keeps the equipment up to date, safe, and available for over 700 members across the province of British Columbia. This includes things like ventilators and BiPAP equipment. I myself use BiPAP, and it has really improved my nighttime sleep. And I get all of this support and equipment through our PROP program. The second program, Technology for Independent Living, provides and installs and services the assistive technologies and home automation devices, like the ones we talked about today. Our technologists work with members and their care teams to develop an assistive technology plan that will assist members to live more independently within their homes. We have also started an additional program called the Youth Assistive Technology Program, which provides these same services to youths ages 12 and up. Our PEER program is our last program and the one I do most of my work with, which is providing somebody to talk to, really, and somebody to guide you through the very complicated world of just getting the services and equipment and specialists you need. So peers help peers to live more independently and get the supports and resources they need to live their best life. If you are in British Columbia and you have any more questions about our services, how you can become a member, or anything like that, my email is here up on the screen, tdanielson@technologyforliving.org. If you are elsewhere in Canada, there are many other programs across Canada which can support you. They vary by province to province, so I would recommend doing a search to find the programs which may be relevant to you. A very helpful resource I found is www.accessassistivetech.ca/programs, which provides a very convenient and comprehensive list of the who, what, and where of dozens of different programs across Canada. If you would just like to purchase many of the devices that we talked about here today, they are available at most major retailers that carry electronics. Price is going to vary from device to device, but as I mentioned, the light bulbs can be found for as little as $10, and the smart plugs are in a very similar range. Smart locks can be roughly $150 to $250, depending on the make and brand. But most of this stuff is very mainstream and very accessible. You don't need to be an expert with technology to make most of this stuff work. Most of it is designed to be built or to be bought and installed by average Joe or Jane over the weekend to make their home a little bit better. But I think us as people with disabilities can get a lot more usefulness and just quality of life and incredible value out of these devices, even though they're just on the market. They're just there at Best Buy. I was recently in Montreal this last summer, and I was immediately frustrated upon entering the hotel room because I couldn't turn on the lights. I was so used to the lights just turning on automatically, or being able to say, hey, turn the lights on in my house. And it was incredibly just frustrating and a wake-up call that this is not the normal everywhere. This is very specialized within my home and the homes of others with smart home technology. And it makes an incredible difference. I was only away for like 3 or 4 days in Montreal, but I still felt an extreme disadvantage not having my light bulbs and all of my other controls. So it does make an incredible difference in terms of just independence and being able to control your space. I hope this presentation has given you some ideas of the increased independence which can be gained through the smart home technology. Thank you very much for having me. I'd be happy to answer anybody's questions if they have any.
That's where we'll take it next, Taylor. Thank you very much. We'll go to the room or online for questions for Taylor on smart technology. Yes, I'll bring the mic over.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I love the topic and I fully endorse some of the text that you covered, especially the smart light bulbs and the home lock. Those are very cool. I'm curious if you have some advice or recommendations on any perceived outdated technologies that you may have retrofitted with Bluetooth adapters to make them usable with the current tech.
Okay, so you're talking about like devices which are not smart but have been made smart by kind of splicing in an adapter?
Yeah, there are some nifty things out there you can get off Amazon. For example, you know how Apple got rid of the headphone jack. So let's say a few years ago that you bought expensive headphones and they have a 3.5 millimeter jack, and that's the only way that they work. So you can actually get a Bluetooth adapter off Amazon, and that will let those headphones connect to your current phone.
That is not something I have done personally, but an organization which I know does do a lot of adapting things to make them more accessible or smart in a variety of different ways is the Neil Squire Society. They have their Makers Making Change program, and they connect makers, people who like to tinker, solder, build stuff with people who need things and adapt them. So I know they adapt a lot of like toys, like plush toys that make noise, and they will set it up with a button so that a child with a disability can interact and play with that toy. So not something I've done personally, but I don't see why it's not possible.
Taylor, thanks. Other questions?